Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon, dear participants. My name is Abdulaziz Ibrahim Tajuddin. I am a professor of water resources economics in the Institute of National Planning, Cairo, Egypt. I am honored to be the chairman of this session, Water Security for Sustainable Development. I would like to thank the scientific committee for appointing me as the chairman for this session to meet with you today. As you know, the original schedule was putting this session in the second day, but because of some technical problems, it has moved from the second day to today. The session will address the sectoral issues in irrigation, water supply and sanitation, as well as assessment of the SDGs. All these topics with respect to water security. Under this session, we have 4 presenters, but they are located in 4 different countries: Egypt, Japan, Morocco, and Germany. The order of presentation will be as follows: Dr. Mohammed Frege, number 1, Dr. Hussam Essersawi, number 2, Dr. Kamal Aif Ohamshish, number 3, Dr. Suda Dehnavi would be the last one, number 4. Dear participants or attendees, whenever you would like to raise a question, please refer to the right bottom of the screen. You will find on the bottom, right bottom, participants chat followed by 3 dots. If you push the 3 dots, you open the question and the answer. Please post your question, and please let us know to whom of the presenters you are addressing your question. Put your question and please let us know address to whom. The answers on all questions will come after the end of all presentations. I wish you all a fruitful session. And now let me introduce the first presenter. The first presenter is Dr. Mohammed Frege. Dr. Frege is a researcher at the National Water Research Center, Egypt, but currently he is a fellow researcher at Sectorial University in Japan. Now I am requesting Dr. Frege to share his screen. He already shared his screen, and he has 15 minutes to finish his presentation. Please, Dr. Frege, Mohammed Frege. Okay.
Professor, for your introduce, and I hope you all safe during the current pandemic. So today's talk about the farmers' irrigation practices under the new operation system in the Nile Delta of Egypt. So firstly, just I would like to narrow down this topic to be nighttime irrigation in response to water scarcity in North Nile Delta of Egypt. So firstly, also just I would like to thank the co-authors for their positive contribution to this research. So here just I would like to firstly I would like to mention about the farmers' adaptation to water scarcity. As shown in these photos that taken by me, we could find that some farmers irrigate from the subsurface drainage manholes. Other farmers irrigate from the agriculture drains, either small drains or main drains. Also, there are other adaptations that taken by farmers, such as deficit irrigations or different kind of cultivated crops, which is tolerant to water stress. But today here, as I am going to talk about nighttime irrigation, so let's me start with nighttime irrigation. So actually nowadays, under the water scarcity conditions, nighttime irrigation became more questionable, actually due to both advantages and determinants. So advantage such as prevent of the losing substantial water into drains, and determinants such as the darkness, the fear, and even also the need for more labors and costs. So, and actually, however, the managing the irrigation under water scarcity conditions has been extensively documented by many researchers. In fact, these studies developed useful indicators that can be used for better irrigation management, such as changing of the cropping pattern and its associated issues. In terms of the efficient use of water to achieve the equity of water distribution in between up, mid, and downstream. But actually, impact of water scarcity on farmers' irrigation practices and their livelihood is still vague. So, based on the brief introduction, we set up our objective to examine the canal irrigation during the night. Actually, this is to monitor the water level variations during the daytime and the night time, as well also examine the farmers' practices, such as the total amount of water that they could supply during the daytime and the night time. Actually, this is in order to answer for one important question, which is how we can enhance nighttime irrigations, or how we can motivate farmers to irrigate at night, just in case we need to sustain paddy rice cultivation. So actually, in our case study area, paddy rice has a critical function for the environment of the North Nile Delta of Egypt, in both terms that such as prevent the salt water intrusion, and as well also maintain soil salinity quality. Actually, in our case study area, in a range between 25 to 30% of the total lands are landed that affected by different degree of soil salinity. So, based on this objective, our case study area is located on the North Nile Delta of Egypt, where most of paddy rice area are concentrated. So also for the on-farm studies were carried out at the one canal called the Kalk Branch Canal. Actually, we could consider that our case study area located at the end of the Egypt irrigation system. So, however, the length of our branch canal is 12 kilometers, and the total surveyed area by this branch canal estimated by about 2,000 hectares. So along the canal from upstream to downstream, five locations were selected. Actually, for each location, the water supply, water requirement, and the canal water levels were calculated and monitored. So water supply calculated based on the multiply pump operation hours and the pump discharge. So pump discharge was measured using the ultrasonic flow meter, and the pump operation hours was computed using the thermomanager. Actually, thermomanager that measure the temperatures. So for each pump station, we installed two thermomanagers, one in the air and one on the pump. Actually, when water goes into the pump, the temperature decreases. Then the difference between the two sensors, easily we can compute the pump operation hours. So in this study, pump operation hours were computed in terms of 10 minutes intervals during the summer season. Also, in this study, water requirement calculated based on the actual cropping pattern and the actual evapotranspiration. Then, by using the software that developed by FAO, Ethanol calculator, we calculated the water requirement. Also, in this study, where three water level sensors were installed. One at the upstream of the canal, and one at the midstream, and the other one at the downstream, just in order to examine the water levels in the canals, along the canal from upstream to downstream. So also in this study, water levels were monitored in a basis of 3 minutes intervals during the summer season. So also for the purpose of our study, nighttime irrigation, consider from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So, and the other periods refer to the daytime irrigation. So, as shown in these figures, actually these figures explain the midnight time and the midday time canal water level in 2013 and 14. The black lines refer to canal water level during the midnight time, and the red lines refer to the canal water level during the midday time. Actually, these dotted lines refer to the separation between on and off days during the rotation turn, as actually water flows to this canal based on the rotation turn, which is 5 days on and 5 days off during the summer season. But actually, as we can see here, this is not the usual case, because here we could find that mid and downstream farmers, if it is here more clear, mid and downstream farmers, that the water reached to their inlet gates 1 or 2 days during the on rotation turn. But here for upstream farmers, we can easily see that they could benefit from the all stored water during the on rotation turn. Actually, this is a reflector that is an express about the exact situation of water crisis. So here for midday time and midnight time canal water level, we could find that midstream and downstream in midstream and downstream locations, we could find that there is clear difference in the water levels in between midday time and midnight time. Actually, this is because or due to the flat slope of the canals, actually which enhance water surges that continuously flow toward the drain, which means that mid and downstream farmers could benefit from the stored water during the night. Also, this table explains the amount of supplied water during night time and daytime. So here we could find that mid and downstream farmers, they received less than 75% of the total water supply during the daytime. But actually here for upstream farmers, they received over 85% during the daytime. Actually, in August, we could find that that situation changed, where the mid and downstream farmers received more water than 85% of the total water supply during the daytime. I think actually this is mainly because of in August it is a decline of bed rice canopy covers, as well also it is in August there is decrease of the reference evapotranspiration. So these figures explain the distributions of nighttime irrigation hours and events. So here we could find that mid and downstream farmers, they frequently practice the nighttime irrigation from sunset to sunrise, which is from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. While here for upstream farmers, they frequently practice nighttime irrigation during the early night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Actually, also this could be due to the busy farmers that have alternative activities or part-time jobs during the daytime. They actually prefer to irrigate during the early night. So in overall, just I would like to say that the mid and downstream farmers' nighttime irrigation event was higher than upstream farmers. So in conclusion, in this presentation, actually we introduced the nighttime irrigation in farmers' thinking and their associated recognition to irrigate at night. This is actually to explore the practical potential of this promising subject, about which much more needs to be known. So, however, the main finding of our study is that nighttime irrigation was found to mitigate mid and downstream water quantity deficiency, but I think nighttime irrigation couldn't ensure the equity in terms of timing. It is because in our case study area, farmers, they have to irrigate by themselves, or by other meaning, there is no agency or there is no prepaid agent to irrigate instead of farmers. And I think there is no one prefer or like to irrigate during the late darkness. So based on this conclusion or on this investigation, we have two recommendations: physical solution and an institutional solution. Actually, the physical solution stems from the fact that we need upstream farmers to irrigate at night at the same level of mid and downstream farmers, and in which to make the farmers to be satisfied about the irrigation service. So I think the optimization of water supply system at the upstream locations would avoid upstream farmers from such practices or such action they are doing during the on-rotation turn, such as irrigation as much as possible during the irrigation term, which actually systemically affect the water flows to mid and downstream farm. Also, I think the ongoing artificial national project of the canal rehabilitations would guarantee systematic flow of water to mid and downstream farm. So, for the institutional solution, they strengthen the cooperation and the responsibilities among water user associations to manage limited water resources. So that's all about today talk, and I wish if I could transfer the message from farmers. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Frege. Dr. Frege, in his presentation, he investigated the night irrigation practices in the North Nile Delta, where body rice is cultivated. He concluded that on-farm studies at earthen distributary canal located on the North Nile Delta. Among his results, he said that night irrigation was practiced the most during June and July by mid and downstream farmers. And he also showed us many other results. And finally, farmers succeeded to mitigate the problem of water scarcity. Thanks again to Dr. Muhammad Frege. Before moving to the second presentation, I would like to remind attendees that they are welcome to post questions addressed to the presenters by looking to the screen down right. They will find participants and chat and 3 dots. If they knock on the 3 dots, the window of question and answers will open. Please post your question and address to whom of the presenters. Now we move to the second presentation. The second presentation about improving water security by the modernization of irrigation canals system by Dr. Hussam El-Sirsawi. Dr. Hussam El-Sirsawi is an associate professor of hydraulic and river engineering at Nile Research Institute, National Water Research Center in Egypt, with more than 30 years of experience in the field of sediment transport and river engineering. He completed his PhD in civil engineering at Cairo University in the field of hydraulics and irrigation engineering, and his master degree on hydraulics and hydrology engineering. It's from University College Galloway in Ireland. He served in many instances as a consultant in hydraulic engineering, water supply, river engineering, drainage, planning and safety of hydraulic infrastructure. Now I invite Dr. Hussam El-Sirsawi to give his presentation within 15 minutes. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Hussam. Please share your screen.
Paper which entitled Improving Water Security by the Modernization of Irrigation Canal System. As we know that we are facing nowadays the shortage of the water. Water becomes a scarce resource. So, open the worldwide scarcity of the water, it becomes important to develop a new approaches to water rationalization, especially in arid and the semi-arid zone like Middle East countries. Okay, now we know that the irrigation is the largest freshwater user in the world. More than 85% of the available resource in developing country. So what we need to modernization irrigation infrastructure to improve the efficiency and to make improving for sustainable water security.
What happened to the voice?
Regarding to the evaluation of the replacing the existing open channel for irrigation system with the by network system. As we have to expand for irrigation area, to increase the area of the irrigation, and to overcome the water shortage. And of course, we conserve the ground and surface water. The third objective, we propose or design the fixed water distribution system, and it should be achieved flexible irrigation to make more group productions and to facilitate water modeling and control. For that, we develop modeling tools for planning, analysis, and development of our irrigation system by dividing the irrigation into hydraulic zones. The project area, we are talking about the largest agriculture area in Saudi Arabia. This is called El Hassan, or we call this the largest of this area. The world is more than 2.5 million palm trees. The irrigation channel network of them is an open channel network with trees, and are suffering from the decrease or decline in the groundwater, and also decrease in the water quality due to high filtration. So the main idea for improving the system of the irrigation is to change the source of the water from the groundwater to non-conventional water source like raised wastewater is used as an alternative water resource for irrigation. This is the location of the project area. This is the Hufuf area. It's about 150 kilometers from south of the Dammam. This project was built by German company called Irrigation. This from more than 50 years. This area of the project around 8,500 hectares. The main crops is the date palm, but we have another percentage of vegetables and other things like food and rice. This area which are area
Sorry, Dr. Hussein. Dr. Hussein, please. Dr. Hussein. Dr. Hussein, سامعني دكتور حسام؟ حضرتك سامعني دكتور حسام؟ دكتور حسام؟
ايوه مع حضرتك
دكتور
ايوه
حسام، الكونكشن عند حضرتك بس الكونكشن عند حضرتك ضعيفه شويه. ممكن حضرتك بس تخش تلغي الباك جراوند. هنخش من ستارت فيديو تحت. ستارت فيديو.
ثانيه واحده.
هتلاقي فيه سهم كده جنبها. هتلاقي فيه سهم كده جنب ستارت فيديو. هنعمل تشينج فيرتشوال باك جراوند، هنخليها نون.
اوكي
من تشينج فيرتشوال باك جراوند هنخليها نون.
ثانيه واحده، انا اسف، انا مش جاي معايا الاوبشن. ثانيه واحده.
في جنب ستارت فيديو كده في هندراج كده السهم ده، هنلاقي فيه change virtual background، هنخليها none. دي بتكونسيوم شويه النتورك، فممكن بس دي هتخلي الدنيا احسن شويه.
اوكي الاوبشن انا مش لاقيه عشان ما اكذبش عليك.
change virtual background في اخر.
انا عارف
change virtual background.
السكرين نفسه مش لاقيها. شير.
هو البوتون اللي جنب شير على طول اللي هو ستارت فيديو، في جنبيه سهم كده ممكن نخش منه ونتشينج الفيرتشوال باك جراوند نخليها نون، عشان بس صوت حضرتك بيقطع في البرزنتيشن. في كذا حد باعت ان هو مش سامع الصوت كويس.
طيب هي مكتوب كاميرا وسبيكر مايكروفون، اخليها سبيكر مايكروفون؟
لا لا لا، انا بتكلم على الباك جراوند. change virtual background.
اوكي
اخر حاجه تحت.
اوكي كده اوكي.
ايوه تمام. اتفضل حضرتك. اتفضل حضرتك شير البرزنتيشن.
انا اسف.
شكرا دكتور حسام.
انا اسف. Okay. Sorry for the connection. The speed in my home, the internet speed is very slow. So now it's okay. I can continue.
Yes please.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for interruption. The L shape, the Hasa area is the L shape. So if we know that, if you see the left of the screen, this is the ground elevation for the Hasa. It be higher from the west and from the south, and the flow goes through from west and from south. Okay, the irrigation system, if we see that here, this is the existing open channel for the irrigation. It will be around 1,350 kilometers. We have divided by means, sub-means, and lateral. This is the mean irrigation channel. This is all of the channel from concrete. This is a kind of sub-mean and lateral channel. If you see that, the lateral is the U-shaped channel. Okay, what's the problem? we have many problems, which give the objective for this research. For the problem, we have low efficiency of the open canal distribution system due to operation losses, due to leakage, due to evaporation losses. And of course, we suffering after 50 years of operation from maintenance of this distribution system, like alga, like dump site for the waste, and other things. If you see from this table, we have the distribution efficiency about 50%. And from this picture, you can see the reason why we want to change this open channel to closed pipe channel. And now we have facing another problems, like nowadays we are suffering from shortage of the water for irrigation. The water irrigation for El Hasa is a groundwater. We talking about 67% reused drainage water, 32%, and we using treated wastewater 1%. The main objective, we want to saving the groundwater, and all the El Hasa area will be in future will be using treated water. Of course, we are facing low water quality, and of course, due to the decrease of the water, there is decrease in irrigation and the cultivated area. This is the methodology to which we are following. There is a data collection, we have survey, and we calculated the water requirement calculation for the main crops in El Hasa area, and we also study the design the system to close the system for distribution of the water. This is the existing zones to which they have the name of the mean channel, like F5, like F2, F5, F6. This is the name of the main channel with the name of the area of irrigated area. We are talking about 25,000 farms, and we are talking about more than 7,700 hectares. You know, hectare equal 10,000 square meter. This is the area we are see that there is a agriculture land in this area and in the west and in the south. This is the distribution of the area of the farms in El Hasa. If you see the three numbers here, more than 50% from 1 to 5 Dammam. Dammam equal 1,000 square meter. So this all the farms have the small area of land. The same situation for other Arabic countries. This is the existing source for the irrigation. They are irrigated from wells and springs. They pumping the water from these wells, and they have storage tanks. And we're using also reused drainage water and also the treated wastewater. This is the main storage tank which collect the groundwater. And if you notice that this storage tank in the area which have heavy culture, and we have the Dammam wastewater treatment station, we have Layou, and we have the Umran water station. Okay, what's the water available? We are talking about the total will be around 540,000 of the water. But in future, we will using only the treated wastewater. Okay, we already designed and planning and design our general master plan. If you notice that this is our master plan or new master plan, and we are divided all the area according to certain criteria to the 10 zones. We have 9, and we added another zone in here, and it's called zone 10. This is the zones for which you are talking. And we connected all the area with the main pipeline. And we are using loop system because we want guarantee there is a source of the water for many directions. This is zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, like that until zone 10. We call this is a B1. This is the area of these zones, and this is the irrigation area, and we are talking about we can extend the irrigation area with percentage 16%. Okay, this is a pipeline for which they take the water from the Dammam area, and there is a mini outlet area. He is already outlet number 1, outlet number 2, outlet number 3, number 4, number 5. This is the outlet. This is a storage tank. So the water come from the Dammam and the Irrigation, and they are feeding this point. They have storage tanks in this point, and from this point it will be redistributed for all the area. This is the irrigation pipe network for each zone. We have fixed the diameter of the pipe. We are for the lateral, it about 250 millimeter, and we reach one around 1400 millimeter. We are talking now about 1,000 kilometer from the pipe. This is the main treated wastewater. This is the outlet point. First, this is the second outlet point, and this is the third point, and this is the fourth and the fifth and sixth point. So this is the mean storage. We have here from tank reservoirs. We have here storage around 15,000 cubic meter. We have the main channel here. This is the open channel called F1. We're using this as a storage and mixing for water from ground, and the treated water is around 80,000 cubic meter. And we added in another 2 storage in Layou and Umran, and this is a new one, zone 2, and this is the zone 3. Also, we add mini pump station to to give us the pressure to redistribute the water in El Hasa region. So now the mean feeding point for the irrigation network will be from F1, from F2, and from this point we can irrigate all the area. For each tank have each zone like that, and like in this area. So we make our hydraulic simulation for all the area. We calculate the diameter and the velocity for all this pipeline, and we calculate the velocity in the pipe for the maximum demand. And we should notice that it should be not more than 2 meters per second. We calculate the pump head, and for the pressure, if you notice that the pressure we have one condition is not less than 2 bars. Bars equal 10 meters, because we want to using drip or bubbler irrigation for all the farms. For each zone, we have sub-zone. So for the 10 hydraulic zone, we divide it for each zone.
The time, Dr. Hassan, the time.
Okay.
You exceeded 15 minutes. Please try to go to recommendations or results.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Hassan, but just in a couple of minutes.
Okay. So for irrigation time schedule, we already divided this for each area zones for irrigation to saving the time for irrigation and to saving the diameter, because we already reduced the charge for each day. This is the kind of hydraulic design for each zone. We are talking about number of branch, number of farms, and number of valves, and like that. So
Please
we are
escape these technicalities and go direct to the results and recommendations.
okay.
The time is finished.
Okay. Here, this is the benefit. What we is our goals. We have rising the irrigation efficiency from 50 to 90. We have water reduce the water demand per hectare per day from 124 to 81, and we reduce the total of the irrigation network, and of course we increase the irrigation area. This is the main target. The conclusion, we already recommend that the investment in the modern irrigation infrastructure is the key of security of the agriculture, of security of the water. Okay. Second, the using closed pipe system for the distribution or for irrigation is not the new technique, but we recommend because it is still unused in arid and semi-arid zone. Of course, when we are going, we are designing the network for this El Hasa area, we should follow the cost analysis, control devices, and of course water budget and the other things. It should be consideration to gain a good design distribution irrigation system. Thank you very much, and I am sorry because the net is very slow. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks to Dr. Hassan. Let me remind you that Dr. Hassan, in his presentation, discussed design aspects, some costs, and also he evaluated the disadvantages and advantages of a case study on the conversion of the old model, which is canal irrigation network, open system, to the pressurized pipe network system. The case study was applicable to Al-Hasa irrigation project, I guess, in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Am I right? Okay. Thanks a lot, Dr. Hussam. And by the end of all presentation, I have 2 questions addressed to you. Okay. Now we move to the third presentation given by Dr. Kamal Ait O Hamshish. Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Kamal will give you the presentation under climate variation on wastewater performance in the region of Beni Milal Khnefra in Morocco. Let me introduce Dr. Kamal. He is PhD student in environmental sciences and geomatics in the Faculty of Science and Technology of Beni Milal, Morocco. He works in the field of environment and geomatics technologies, especially the study of impact of the climate variation on the wastewater treatment yield in the Beni Milal Khnefra region. He has a master's degree in environmental geomatics. He has a license in science and technology, field geomatics, and land management. He got his bachelor degree in life and earth science at the high school in Azilal, Morocco. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for giving me the word. So, in the first place, I would like to thank you for this important conference of Cairo Water Week, and I hope that this COVID-19 will be dispelled soon, inshallah. So, I don't know if you hear me very well. No? You hear me?
Yes.
We hear you
Okay. Okay. So my presentation, it will be about the climate variation. Do you see my presentation? Not yet? Okay.
No.
I will share it now. I will share it.
Yes, now.
Okay. So I said that my presentation will be about the impact of climate variation on the purification operation in the region of Beni Milal Khnefra in Morocco. So, and to explain that, I will follow this plan, an introduction, the national climate plan in Morocco, the climate change in the region, the wastewater treatment plant study, and the scientists, and the final conclusion and some recommendations. So as you know, in Morocco, the climate issues is a major development, issues that the must mobilize all components of the society to make its territory and its population more resilient in the face of climate change. So to face these challenges, all actors in society need to strengthen their capacities, not only to reduce the challenge of climate change, but also to ensure the sustainability development of the country and preserve the progress already achieved. So for the 5 pillars of the climate change plan national in Morocco, so there is the building a strong climate governance, to accelerating the transition to the low carbon economic, to building human, technological, and financial capacity, and to build resilient to climate risks and integrating territories into the climate dynamics. And also there is some summits guidelines that was given for the global climates. As you know, the last conference of parties 22 in Morocco. So the decision makers also discussed the importance of water treatment and distribution, especially in the field of reusing the wastewater treatment water. And there is also the the World Health Organization that defined, gave some recommendations on for use the wastewater in agriculture and in the aquaculture domain fields. So also, and the strategy followed by Morocco, it has enabled that this establishment of basins agencies who are responsible for the water governance here realize the strategy of the Moroccan national Morocco. For the Beni Mellal Khalifa region, this is a sample map who show us the situation of the studying wastewater treatment plant as seen in the map. So, and to have an idea about the climate change in this region, in our region, as you know, Morocco is divided on 12 regions. So this Beni Mellal Khalifa is one of those 12 regions. So climatologically, the region can be subdivided into two main morphological units: the mountains area such as the town, mini towns. The plain of Tadla contains many cities. We can see that the climate of the various communes of the region are experiencing a slight warming, and especially those accentuated in the plain. It is clear that the problem of climate change becomes a handicap for the development of the various countries, especially those characterized by an arid and desert climates, and has several negative impacts on the agriculture and also on the drinking water supply. It has provided necessity to select and to use measures that may be appropriate to adapt to this environmental problem. So the wastewater treatment plant is located in the city of Zawitshir. So as you've seen in the table, so the drinking water consumption in this city, it was 1,342 meter per day, and the average wastewater treatment flow entered in or produced by this city was 1,074 meter per day. So we tried here to work on three important parameters that give us an idea about the purification or the performance of the wastewater treatment plant. It's the biological oxygen demand, and the chemical oxygen demand, and the suspended solids. So I will not read the numbers for not taking a lot of time. So what we can conclude from this thing, that the raw wastewater treatment and the entrance of this wastewater treatment plant is deviated during the month of May, and the values of biological oxygen demand at the exit of the wastewater treatment plant, it's vary from 95 during the month of May, and from 230 milligram per liter during the month of July. So we will explain this poor that there is poor irrigation and discharge from the oil mills that product the margins entering in the station, in the wastewater treatment plant. For the chemical oxygen demand, so we will see that in December there is an instability of this parameter, and it can be said that there is a low degradation of pollution load. For the suspended solid, we can see that during the hot season of the year, it's confirmed that the waters of the period are well loaded, And the cold period, however, this value comply with the standard limits put in the Moroccan law, so which give an idea of a low water consumption. These graphics shown us to have an idea about the studying year is 2008, the temperature and evaporation and the rainfall and the wind speed on all the year. So we can see that the operation of wastewater treatment plant in this case is divided over 2 periods of the year. So a cold period, during this period the treatment plant receives a wastewater heavily charged with organic matter, and this period is characterized by a very low abatement in the term of those parameters, such that the value of results obtained are not in the standard norm. This may be due to discharge of margins that result from the oils mills in the region. That characterizes this time of the year. As the water is turbid and the radiation is weak, the solar rays do not penetrate deep into the water mass, which results in a poor elimination of the pollution charged by the bacteria. And for the warm period in July, June, August, September, October, this period is characterized by a significant phytoplankton proliferation operation, which improved the functioning of the wastewater treatment plant, such that the abatement of those parameters are in decline following massive production of phytoplanktons. So, as a conclusion, and to improve the efficiency, the responsible water administration has installed pilots, or we can say aerators, to promote aeration in the treatment plant. But the operation of those aerators has malfunctioning that's related to the problem of solar power supply, which does not reflect the proper operation of the pilots to judge their performance. So to have the efficiency of the aeration, it is necessary a continuous supply of electricity. And from a climatologically point of view, the city is a partly ordeal which explains the low temperature recorded at the level of the wastewater treatment plant, contrary to the plan. The problem of the low temperature of the city.
2 minutes left.
2 minutes. Okay, I will end. Whereas that of the margins of the oil mills constitute a limiting factors of the development of algae at the level of the optional basins or the optional basins of the waste treatment plant, which influence negatively the biological treatment. So that's the result, allow abatement ratios. Some recommendations. So for improvement of yields of the treatment plants in the city, it's recommended to install a small margins water pretreatment basins to avoid the entrance of those margins in the treatment plant, and design of treatment basins for margins. Installation of oxygen blowers to improvement of aeration at the optional basins. So I can see that to install or to construct a wastewater treatment plant in any place in the world, we should take the option of the factor of climate in decision to know what is the appropriate climate to construct a type of this water treatment plant. So I think that I finished. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Thanks a lot for Dr. Kamal Hamshish. Dr. Hamshish assessed the physico-chemical quality of raw and treated wastewater in Beni Milal area or region. He evaluated the treatment performance of its wastewater treatment plants and wastewater treatment process in the region. And also he focused on the impact of climate change on wastewater treatment operation and the climate variation, especially the temperature. Now we move to the last presentation given by Dr. Sud Dehnavi. Let us decorate our session by a rose. Our rose today is Dr. Suda Dehnavi. Dr. Suda Dehnavi is a researcher, lecturer, project coordinator, and strategic planner. The core of her interdisciplinary research and educational work is sustainable development in food and water domains. She has years of experience in strategic planning and scientific coordination of international development projects and networks design and implementation of international scientific conferences, science policy, dialogue, workshops, and educational excursions. She is currently working at the Institute for Technology and Research Management in Tropics and Subtropics, University of Applied Science, Cologne, Germany. Okay, now the time is with yours within 15 minutes only, please, in order to leave some time for questions and answers. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Professor Tagardin, for the very nice introduction, and thank you for the time and the chance to present. I'm really looking forward to feedbacks on how I could improve my work. So as you mentioned, I'm going to give next slides on the topic of water security assessment and SDGs. So the main content of this presentation is to firstly look at the linkages between Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and water security, especially SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. And furthermore, to see if these SDGs, indicators of SDG 6 are good representative to assess and achieve water security. And finally, to which extent in this method that I'm going to present to you would be a good way to create a common understanding on water security and SDG goals. In the first part, I'm going to show you a table which shows an assessment framework. This assessment framework has two main components. One is the water security definition, which I took the water security definition from UN Water. Is, as most of you know it, I'm sure everyone knows, it's the capacity of the population to safeguard sustainable access as well as equitable quantities of acceptable quality water for several purposes, including sustaining livelihoods, human well-being, and socio-economic development, as well as for ensuring protection against waterborne pollution and related disasters, and preserving ecosystems, and finally, in a climate of peace and political stability. So in this assessment, we use this definition of water security, and further on, we use SDG 6 indicators, goals and indicators. The assessment framework is very simple. I would like to first introduce how this is set up. As you can see, the first row of the table and the first column of the table are reflecting water security definition of UN. The capacity of the population to safeguard, then we have the main factors, and then the areas are mentioned in column. And within the table, we have different indicators of SDG that could somehow influence different parts of this water security definition. As you can see, for example, indicator 641 is about change in water use efficiency over time, which changing in this indicator would impact access to adequate quantities of water, for sustainable livelihood of human well-being and socio-economic development. Moreover, there are some indicators which would affect more than one area. For example, proportion of wastewater safely treated would affect the area of accessible quality water in the fields of ensuring protection against waterborne pollution as well as preserving ecosystems. So this is the way this framework is set up, and each indicators will get a different weight as well. Now I would like to introduce a case study which we would like to assess with the help of this assessment framework. The case study is water desalination in Iran. Here I have the map of Iran. Population is about 83 million inhabitants. Average precipitation is 228 millimeters per year, which is very low. Most of the country is located in arid and semi-arid region, and at the moment 408 out of 609 plains are faced with negative water balance. And water scarcity, as similar to other cases in MENA region, has brought Iranian government to the decision to get more and more direction of using desalinated water for different purposes. And source of this water desalination is Persian Gulf, which is a shallow with 35-meter depth in average, almost entirely closed. So there is like an opening to Oman Sea here. And the water in Gulf is 25% saltier and normal seawater. And all the riparian countries of Persian Gulf, they are using water for desalination. At the moment, there are not many treaties going on, so the transboundary aspect of the water use for desalination is not much focused, and the Gulf states plan to nearly double the amount of desalination by 2030. How is Iran concerned about SDGs? The Agenda 2030 is Iran's situation for the Agenda 2030 is to have constructive cooperation to fulfill its commitments to global SDGs and principles based on the national priorities. The main challenges of Iran regarding Agenda 2030 are water, environment, and economic development, as well as international and regional peace, stability, and security. A main requirement of Iran, what is needed to be able to be in line with Agenda 2030 is a broad national effort to integrate and mainstream the environment and sustainable development elements contained in the 6th National 5-Year Socio-Economic Development Plan. And the main challenges are, one, the indicators, which are the inconsistency of existing national monitoring and evaluation framework with those indicators, as well as lack of scientifically credible and reliable data and information. To have Iran statistic in the area of water supply in a glance, you can see that desalination plays a small role at the moment as a water source in Iran. And if you look at the other numbers, we can see that municipal wastewater collection is 40%, which means here there is lots of potential to improve wastewater collection rate as well as treatment, and then reuse it in different sectors. So here I want to emphasize that you can see that groundwater abstraction is very high, and the surface water, and desalination could be a potential to relax, for example, groundwater sources, but wastewater treatment reuse would be an option or alternative to think about as well. According to Iran national priority to provide population with safe water, Iran has already planned to supply at least 30% of drinking water of the southern regions of the country using this switching seawater. And there are lots of plans going on to increase Iran's capacity for desalination. And currently 85 water desalination units are working. Capacity is about 400,000 cubic meters per day, which is planned to be increased. And 40% of drinking water for Hormozgan province in southern, with population of 1,077,000 population is from desalination. water. As much as desalination is supporting and increasing access to safe water, it has some environmental impact, mainly discharge of salt and coastal or marine ecosystem, rejection of high concentration waste brine from the plant itself, or multi-stage flash thermal pollution, as well as worsening the situation and increasing the temperature of seawater and harm on the marine environment, causing fish to migrate, and as well as sometimes microelements and toxic materials appear in the discharge brine. So it has quite vast environmental consequences. And now the question is, going for desalination as an alternative to supply water, is it how far it's in line with SDGs, how far it's fulfilling SDG indicators, and if it's in line with the water security and sustainability of use of water and water management. As mentioned, for that purpose, we have used this table. And here we have used, what we have done is we have consulted different experts, and we have used a stakeholder workshop where experts are located to use their knowledge to assess the role of desalination regarding each of these indicators. And at the end, we have made aggregation of these indicators for each field with different weights, and we have come up with this table, which is reflecting the results. For example, as you can see, indicator evaluation is from -3, which is negative effect, to 3, which is positive effect. And this table is able to give you in a glance what is the position of desalination in southern part of Iran regarding achieving water security and in fulfilling SDGs. For example, you could see that, of course, Iran can fulfill, this number is quite high, and it shows Iran can fulfill access to adequate quantities of water in line with socio-economic development, but at the same time, okay, thank you. At the same time, there are other indicators which are preserving ecosystem, which get negative. It means that desalination has minus impact. Then this table could be again aggregated to another level, and to have a more overview of one technology, for example, or one case, and its relevance with SDGs and water security. So it's very important to, so this table could be used very often. It's very good to use for stakeholder meetings as well, because one of the important requirements of having a dialogue and exchange is that people have the same understanding of situation. For example, with this tool, we could make a general understanding of the situation and guide the negotiations and discussions with the stakeholder meetings. And it is a tool which works for decision making as well. It can give a good idea. And if we do the same table for the case of the wastewater treatment reuse, then we can compare them, and it's again supporting decision making. And here you can see there is another table where the position of different desalination for different SDGs is presented. For example, how does it affect the sustainable livelihood and so on. What I would like to conclude this presentation to be in time as well, as Professor Tageldin advises, is just to make the last slide thinking about how far this indicator, SDG indicators, are the real path towards sustainability in 2030. In many cases, governments make it very easy by fulfilling 1 or 2 SDGs. They create this feeling of really going for sustainability, but at the end is the combination of these SDGs and this indicator, this cross indicators that matters as well. And I would say there is a real still big space for rethinking innovation, transformation, and other ways of beyond these indicators to achieve sustainability in 2030. Thank you very much for your attention. Here's my email address, and you can reach me, I would be very happy to be in contact via email or my LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr.
I was within the time frame.
Suda. Okay, in time frame. Actually, Dr. Suda stressed the country priorities for water security components and triggers. She analyzed strategy documents and the development plans of the selected countries from arid and semi-arid zones, and of course, the focus was on Iraq. And she ended with the following. To achieve the goals of the SDGs 2030, we have to rethinking, we have to consider innovation, we have to make transformation. Thank you very much. And also I extend the thanks for all the presenters. I enjoyed their presentation and the effort done to make it fruitful session. Now we move to the questions and answers. As I see, I don't know if Dr. Walid Abu Hassan is with us to raise his question by himself, or on behalf of him, I have to raise the question. Do we have with us Dr. Walid Abu Hassan? No, okay.
دكتور عبد العزيز حضرتك ممكن شكرا.
Okay. At the beginning, Dr. Walid Abu Hassan was complaining that the voice of Dr. Hussam was not, it was vibrated. But this is because of some technical conditions. And he asks, where is Il Al-Hassa? And also he answers, I think it is in Saudi Arabia. And the answer is correct. What is the relation with the current project in Egypt? Dr. Hussam, the first question raised by Dr. Abu Hassan is, what is the relation with the current project in Egypt? In Egypt, we have also a project for modernization. And he would like to know what is the relation. Also, he asked, the presentation or the presented maps shows areas in West Saudi Arabia, while Al-Hassa is in east of Saudi Arabia. Moreover, he added, you will get the platform. If you are going to reuse wastewater in future, water quality is one of the main parameters should be included in analysis of hydraulic assessment. I didn't not see any reflection related to water quality in the presentation. Also, he added, all techniques are not new. It is well known that drip irrigation efficiency is over than 90%. What is new? Okay? And after you answer this, I will address another question for you. Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Aras. Thank you. First of all, Al-Hassa is the side of Saudi Arabia.
Again, the voice is not clear. The voice is not clear.
Around 150 kilometers from south of sorry.
If you take, because of the voice travels, if you would like to raise the answer later on,
know my voice?
with the email of Dr. Abu Hassan, you can send to him the answer, if you would like, because the voice is not clear enough. Try again.
Yes.
Try again.
I think okay. Now you.
It's okay now.
Okay, I will. You listen to me, Dr. Ali? Okay.
Yes.
First of all, Al-Hassa area is the east of side of Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Okay. Second, what's the relation between this and Egypt? Actually, I am working as a consultant for more than 6 years in this project in Saudi Arabia. So this is a project is very good as a pilot project which you can apply for many countries, especially in Egypt, especially these days, because this project depends on the using of treated wastewater.
Okay.
completely. Okay. Okay. Third question about the why I didn't taking into account the calculation of the water quality or parameter of treated water in hydraulic. We already take it, and we have many criteria. We follow it, and we have many restrictions for this water quality parameter. The last one about the drip irrigation. Okay, the main objective of this project is not going for the drip or bubbler irrigation. The main objective of this project to make a smart system for distribution of the water to the farm by using SCADA or complete SCADA or control system from the source to the intake of the farm. Thank you, Dr. Adi.
Okay. May I raise my question, Dr. Hussam?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes,
I am more interested in economic aspects, not technical aspects. Can I ask you some questions about the economic aspects of this project?
Yes, of course.
In your project, you are replacing a new system, which is the pressurized pipeline system, with the old one, which is open canal system, right? What is the impact of that in terms of water saved, energy saved, labor saved? And did you carry out any economic indicators such as the internal rate of return of the project, the rate per each Saudi Riyal? If you invest such amount of Saudi Riyal, how much did you get? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Aziz. Okay, first of all, this project, it will be cost around $300 million, around 1 billion and 4 or 300 million Riyal Saudi.
Okay.
So the area we are talking
water saved, energy saved, labor saved.
Okay, water saving, we are talking about saving more than 30% of the water requirement for irrigation.
Okay. This number one. Okay.
For labor saving, we have control system from the source to the farm. It means that there is no cost for distribution, and we have reached the water to the intake for each farm by time is already controlled by SCADA system.
Okay.
So
energy.
Energy, this is a tricky question, because we add more pump station, it will be more cost and more energy. But as you know, this is a project, we didn't follow the economic recommendations or economic constraints, because El Hasa area is represent a very important in the ground of Saudi culture, because they the main source of the dates in Saudi Arabia. So as I told you, Dr. Al-Aziz, that the cost of 1 hectare, it will be cost more than $30,000.
Okay.
$30,000 for each farm. It will be more around half the price of the farm itself. So,
Dr. Hassan,
yes.
I am happy with your answer. But since you succeeded to finish the technical part, I advise you to engage one economic guy to help you in carry out the economic analysis. We have to have what is the net present value, what is the internal rate of return, what you have to run the analysis once by financial prices and once again by economic prices in order to see the incremental net benefit. Incremental, because you do all the best to have better situation. Subtracting the old situation from the new situation, we get the incremental net benefit. Okay, thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Okay, again, we came to the end of this fruitful session. It was an important session, and I personally enjoyed listening to the 4 presentations by the 4 esteemed presenters. Thank you very much, and see you again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Professor. See you.
See you.
Bye.